Everyone ready?
This is the SEC Insider Hit. Presented by your local Farm Bureau Insurance agent. Go local. Go with a home team.
Well, Tim's taking crazy pills on the Ag Up Equipment text line. He let me know that Coach Ed Orgeron is the best coach that LSU has ever had.
Whoa. All right.
I think we all may need to go home, start all over again, get back in bed, close your eyes for 15 minutes, get back out of bed, shower, see if we can reboot here. What? Coach O was the best head coach they ever had? Wow.
It's Monday, folks. we are moving hot. I love it.
What makes guys dumber than dumb? Sports and women. Your sports team and women. And you make it, though, in sports cars. Right?
Yeah. I'd say sports cars. But, man, sports really is. It starts making you hopeful about things that you shouldn't be hopeful about.
Well, that's what we need as humans, I guess, to make it through, the crazy journey that we all have in front of us. We are the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. We're live in the BankPlus Studio. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. There's a meltdown on my text line about basically, Zach Arnett, his future, and so on. This thing's got to play out. They're going to take a week off. By the way, they haven't lost anybody that they weren't an underdog against. That's the funny part. And if Ole Miss doesn't beat the two teams do this. If Ole Miss doesn't beat LSU, this thing's not near as crazy as it would be. So they have not lost to anybody where they were the favorite. And Arizona is playing good football. They almost beat Washington without DeLora. And it's crickets on my text line because I told you they got good players. And then they took Southern Cal into 3 overtimes. And you beat I don't know where that team is. I don't know what happened starting that Sunday with Mississippi State football. You played a good non-conference opponent, considering most people don't play anybody. Much better than anybody else. Much better than your rival. I mean, Arizona can play. They have now almost beat Washington without DeLora, and they have almost beat Southern Cal without Jaden DeLora. And by the way, you know what they threw in? A freshman quarterback.
That kid could sling it.
He can.
He's got an arm on him.
Yeah, which also asks the question why you don't have more depth at your quarterback position at Mississippi State. But I guess, everybody transferred out. Sawyer Robertson and the other guys that they had signed the last couple of years. But my question is, even though they didn't play great that night, they didn't play bad. I mean, Arizona made plays. Mississippi State made plays. What happened after that night? You play LSU. They come out and get on you. Was it 14 or 21-0? 21-0, I think. 21-0.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 28.
It was quick.
And then you lost all confidence. You don't play well. You're awful in the secondary. I can remember maybe a secondary in the 80s it was that bad. Maybe like we were talking about Ron Cooper, John Blake. And I don't even think Peter Sermon's secondary was that bad in 2016, but I could be wrong. Because Mississippi State has usually played really good defense for the most part. So my question would be, what happened? I mean, what was in like the water coolers? What kind of steak did you get served the next day on that Sunday after the Arizona game? Anybody want to guess?
I mean, I don't know.
You beat this Arizona win. Arizona is a very, very, very competitive team. Washington can play. Southern Cal's got Caleb Williams. Why didn't the Arizona coach go for it in the first overtime? I don't know. Yeah, probably go for the win, but he didn't. Southern Cal recruits in the top 10. You recruit in the 50, I don't know, what, 40s, 50s? I'm not sure. Go ahead, Jason.
Res Dog coming to the rescue of the Rebels on the text line, saying Georgia Tech beat Miami, who beat A&M. So technically, Ole Miss has played a tougher
Georgia Tech's
schedule.
awful.
Hey, Haynes King, when it was his turn to make some shake, he made it happen.
Yes, Georgia Tech's salami tech.
Whoa.
I'm not moving off that. Cupcake State, they're terrible. They're not any good. Mario Cristobal has proven, like he did out at Oregon, he loves to lose games that he should win.
Yeah, and then the Arizona thing, when you have 5 turnovers, don't you think Mississippi State should at least win in regulation at home?
Well, DeLaura was phenomenal in the second half. I mean, he was great.
Yeah, but like the State was given so many chances. That's what 5 turnovers. That's got to be. You're supposed to win by 2 scores if you get 5 turnovers. On paper, 10 times out of 10, if a team gives up the ball 5 times, the other team should probably win by 2 scores.
Well, they won.
Yeah.
And Arizona has proven what? Back-to-back weeks without their starting quarterback. They've almost beat Washington with Michael Penix and Caleb Williams.
Gave him a run.
Now, Bulldog West says, be happy we won the damn game. We weren't Bama and certainly not Bama fans who get mad about the way they win a game. We're having problems, but a win is a win, and we're right where we should be. Well, here's the problem. You're right. 3-3 is pretty much where you should be. The problem is your secondary is, well, your defense as a whole is awful. And you can't stop anything underneath. When they're throwing the ball from the line of scrimmage to about, Jason, 20 yards down the field, anything 20 and in, it's 100%. You know?
Yeah.
So, they can't stop anybody. They're awful. And they're not going to win. The odds are they're not going to win a conference game.
Well, I think the most surprising is now you're seeing what LSU's defense is, and you look back, what was the game plan for State going into that game? I mean, Missouri,
well, they looked.
Brady Cook is great. He's got good arm talent. Threw his first interception on Saturday of the season, but they just didn't put up any points against LSU, a team that looks like they'll give up points to a high school.
I mean, the fact that they couldn't score is mind-boggling against LSU. But it was more so that they couldn't stop. They can't stop anybody. They can't stop Western Michigan. I mean, this isn't an offensive thing. Although they're not good, they're solid. This is a defensive thing. Hayden Wolf was the third-string quarterback for Western Michigan, and he went 27 of 35 for 262 and 3 touchdowns. That's a problem because he didn't even know he was going to play.
Oof. That's crazy.
It's a good thing he was all dressed out. I mean, when they looked over to him and were like, hey, you're playing, he was like, what? I had no idea. His girlfriend didn't even watch the game. Well, because she didn't think he would play.
Yeah, it's funny to put it that way, though.
So, it's a bad deal. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to ride it out, see what happens. If Arnett can find a W or two, which I think is a long shot, then we'll see what happens after Thanksgiving. Ole Miss is licking their chops at thrashing Mississippi State on Thanksgiving night. Are you ready to call it, Jason? Ole Miss by 24?
No, never. Not once will I say, oh, Ole Miss is going into the Egg Bowl a big favorite. They're going to win a big favorite. I hate doing that because you know what happens is Will Rogers or whoever's playing quarterback plays lights out for the first time all season. They show you something that you haven't seen, and somehow State makes it close. Maybe even something crazy happens. But I think the Egg Bowl, just like the Arkansas game, Arkansas always plays Ole Miss close. State and Ole Miss, it hasn't been a blowout since. Well, I mean, I guess Nick Fitzgerald kind of blew the Rebels out, but it was still close.
I don't remember.
I
Last
guess
time it was 3+ touchdowns.
Maybe the Sylvester Croom last game.
Oh,
2016.
You're right. Fitzgerald and State won 55-20.
Yeah. So I know that was the last time that, but I don't even think, I can't remember who was a big favorite in that game, but I know it was, the line was probably close.
I think it was close. I think Ole Miss was favored by a handful of points.
Yeah. If an Ole Miss fan tells you that
was Shea Patterson versus Nick Fitzgerald.
Yeah, Shea Patterson. Where'd that guy go? But if an Ole Miss fan tells you that they're confident that Rebels are going to blow out.
He went to Michigan, baby.
Yeah, and I mean, after that, like, Shea Patterson was supposed to be what Matt Corral was. That's what he was supposed to be. He was supposed to be the mobile, accurate quarterback that, comes in, high-star recruit, and works wonders. And he did. But an Ole Miss fan, if they're telling you that they're confident Ole Miss wins by 4 scores against State in the Egg Bowl, they're lying. Because if they know their history, they know how it's been, they're lying.
What would you put the line at right now?
Ole Miss 10.5?
Yeah, I think maybe more, but yeah, you're trending in the right zip code.
Yeah, I just wouldn't start it crazy. If somebody puts it at 17.5, I'm putting money on State. If they put Ole Miss minus 17.5,
maybe just
stay away. Just stay away. But 17, and like, I could see if things keep going this way, I could see the line being something crazy like that.
All right, I got audio. Let's switch gears. We got some audio for you. I want to start with Lane and him talking about how Arkansas always plays Ole Miss close. Ole Miss won the game. That's what counts, 27-20. Bentley looked good. The defense looked good. Arkansas is not a good football team. KJ Jefferson, I don't know what they're trying to do with him on offense. I don't know why they're playing Rocket Sanders unless they don't have anybody else, because he has no explosiveness. And they want KJ to now become a statue and a pocket passer. I don't know what play you should call, but I think I know what KJ does well, unless he's hurt. I know he got hurt early in the year. Maybe he hasn't recovered since. This is Lane on Arkansas and Ole Miss matchups.
I thought our guys did a good job. I wouldn't, I'm never going to sit here and take credit like I did this great job. I thought they did a good job practicing, preparing. That team gives us problems. They always have. I think they're better on defense maybe than people give them credit for. I think they're long and strong, and they play physical, and they're sticky in coverage. They get up and cover / hold you, and they make it tough, and they always get up for this game.
Hey, what did Lane say right there? They hold you? Look,
yeah,
that they did get aggressive on the Ole Miss receivers, and that's your only shot, is to go up there and fight them in the first 5 yards. You play off them, Harris, Wade, all of them will bury you. The only thing to do, and you got to set the table early and spar with them at the line of scrimmage. And a lot of times if you do, the refs won't throw the flag because it's what you did from the start, believe it or not. It's the way you set the tone at the beginning of the game. But I like that Lane that wasn't quite fine-worthy, but he tiptoed up to the line.
He dished it out.
Yeah.
Just a little, just like kind of threw it out secretly.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh,
I like it.
All right, our coach speak today. We got Arnett coming up. I want Arnett on mic right. Our coach speak today is brought to you by Eye Care Professionals and Dr. Kirk Jeffries. If you need cataract surgery, Eye Care Professionals, Dr. Kirk Jeffries. And our coach speak is brought to you by Dr. Kirk Jeffries and Eye Care Professionals. It's also brought to you by Havana Smoke Shop for your premium cigars tonight for Monday Night Football. And we all need to have, well, I don't want all you to have a beverage if you don't, but some of you are going to need a beverage after watching Dak and the Cowboys play the 49ers. because I went ahead and turned it over to something else late in the first quarter. After San Francisco went straight down and scored and bullied them in the first drive, I thought it's going to be a long one. So I switched back a couple of times and did not watch any of the second half, so I am living right. This is Zach Arnett on the way that Mike Wright is playing.
Yeah, I think Mike's continued to do what I talked about on Monday, right? We said every time his number's been called, he's answered the call and he's provided a spark for our offense, and he would get more opportunities, right? So it's just what I said on Monday, right? He got a few more opportunities. It allows us to expand the package for him, and he answered the call again. So happy to see that. And then we got two quarterbacks who did a lot of really good things to spark our offense today, and so that's a really good thing.
He's right. He's right. Mike Wright made the most of it. Both of them had touchdown passes dropped by a wide receiver, which is right in his hands. So that would have been 2 more TDs. Boy, that would have really blown open the game. They both dropped TDs right in the breadbasket, and you drop them. That's tough. But Will Rogers played well. He's hurt. How hurt, we don't know. Mike Wright played well. It was Western Michigan. Game should have been game, set, match early, but what'd you do? You played well on defense early, and then what'd you do? You forgot how to play D. And you let Hayden Wolf just start underneath. 20 and in, automatic. 15 and in, automatic. Just spraying it across the field. So early on, you get up, you're rolling, and then you either go to sleep or, well, they got a new QB. They're right because their starter didn't play. Their second string got hurt, and their third string, Hayden Wolf, and he's 6'5", 220. He's a big kid. He's a good-looking kid. Kind of tucked away at Old Dominion, transfers to Western Michigan. Not sure what happened there. Mississippi State should have grabbed him. It looks like he can play a little bit, Jason.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what to do with that, actually.
I mean, he looked good.
He did. All right, let's continue on with our coach speak and player speak on the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. This is Jackson Dart. So Dart had a nice night, but he's not going to have a record-breaking night every week. You can't do that. It's not realistic in college football or the NFL. But he talked about his team weathering the storm and getting the W against Arkansas.
Saying that Coach Kiffin's been saying lately is to stay calm through the storm. So, we kind of just keep that as, anytime we face any sort of adversity, don't freak out. Don't be too high, don't be too low. Stay calm and just trust our process that we put in, from the whole off season to, our preparation leading up to the game.
All right, that was Jackson Dart. They weathered the storm. It was a closer game than some people thought, and Ole Miss ended up doing what they need to do, especially with Bentley taking over the game and ripping off some runs. And a night where the passing game, as Lane said after the game, we weren't clicking. And Arkansas was the reason. And Lane gave them credit. The way they played the wide receivers, they got physical at the line of scrimmage. And that's something to watch out for when they play Auburn and A&M and Georgia.
Ooh, yeah.
Because those are physical defenses. I know a lot of you don't think Auburn's good. Their offensive and defensive scoring efficiency numbers are pretty good. They are. And they had to play A&M and they had to play Georgia. I think you should probably take that into consideration. And they'll have played LSU after this weekend. But pulling Georgia early, brutal, at A&M, tough. Those are tough games.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're still in the 40s in offense, in the 50s in defense. Not terrible at all. And so we'll see what Hugh can do this weekend at LSU. Now, LSU's an 11.5-point favorite. And then we'll see what happens as Ole Miss takes on Hugh Freeze for the first time. No, second time, right? Yeah, Liberty went to Oxford.
Right.
But, that was G5.
Yeah. Liberty's still good, even after Hugh left.
That was Jamie Chadwell's up there?
I think so.
He is. He's got a lot of at the college level, he's like Shanahan with the 49ers. He's a freak in all the different things they do with their running game. And he's won everywhere. He's like Freeze. He's won everywhere he's been. And Liberty's got all this money. I can't believe people give them money, but they've got all this money. And they do. I mean, the Faldwell family found this model. They've made hundreds of millions of dollars, off religion. It's happened since the beginning of time. And they hired Jamie Chadwell. Now, Chadwell's going to go somewhere else, Jason. I don't know when, but he will parlay his Liberty stay in. And they kind of live in this bubble where they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And they poured all this money into their athletics. So it'll be interesting to see. Chadwell's going to be on the list for some jobs. Jonathan Smith from Oregon State. Keep an eye on. I've talked about him for a while.
Right.
He's phenomenal. Chadwell at Liberty. Don't forget about Jeff Traylor at UT San Antonio. And I'm keeping an eye on Tom Herman at Florida Atlantic. Because you know what? A lot of times in your first stop, you're not asked Sarkisian or Lane. A lot of times in your first stop, even your second stop, you're not ready. You're not as good as you're going to be eventually. But keep an eye on Chadwell at Liberty. Keep an eye on Jonathan Smith at Oregon State. Jeff Traylor at UT San Antonio. And one other dude that I was thinking about. I had to go back and look. Oh, well, I said Tom Herman at Florida Atlantic, but there's one more guy. So those are some of the guys that are looking at. Oh, Jeff Brom punched Notre Dame in the mouth.
Yeah.
Bartu's been running his mouth about Jeff Brom for a decade, back when nobody knew who he was at Western Kentucky. Right? Yeah. And then he goes to Purdue, which is a brutal place to try to win. And they win enough, and he goes back to his alma mater, Louisville, and they smoked Notre Dame on Saturday. Brom will be in contention for a big job like Bama.
Ooh.
Now, we'll see what the wheels aren't necessarily off with Miami and Cristobal, even though he made a terrible decision. They only have one loss. They have good players. They play in a weak league. They can still figure it out and have a good year. Brom's only going to go to a top 5 program. So it would have to be like Ryan Day going to the NFL, Jason.
Okay,
It would have to be Sark either going to the NFL or the wheels falling off, or Cristobal going to the NFL or the wheels fall off, or Saban retiring for Brom to leave Louisville. But they're undefeated. They just beat Notre Dame, and he's a damn wizard on the offensive side of the football. So he's going for the big boy job. Chadwell just wants a Power 5 job. Jeff Traylor at UT San Antonio, who's excellent, wants a Power 5 job. Jonathan Smith at Oregon State realizes they're no longer in a Power 5 conference.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be asked to go anywhere at Oregon State and Washington State. So he's looking for a landing spot. He's young and he's offensive minded. Tom Herman went like 33-15 at Texas. He's not that bad. Actually, he's pretty good. May not be great. He may have learned a lot. Kind of like Lane had to go to rehab at FAU.
Yeah.
Herman may be doing the same thing. Show is brought to you by Bulldog Burger in Ridgeland. Yeah. G.J. Kahn at Texas State's big time.